Hey, this is Shannon. Remember, before we dive in, if you like content like this or my posts on social media like Facebook and Twitter, remember to hit that like button and subscribe. You can also check out my website, shannonbag.wixsite.com/mbrs, for my customized readings. You can check out my custom products where I make 4-leaf clover bookmarks and money art, as well as my shop where I already have money art displayed, my recycled rugs, and other cool items. So let's get started into this video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different on 10 Minutes of Astrology. So recently, Casey Anthony came out with a docu-series that my mother and I watched, and I was very intrigued by her story. I'm not going to say my opinions or thoughts on what happened to that family or to her daughter. This video is strictly talking about her birth chart, which I found incredibly interesting. So I want to discuss that here with you today. All right. Here we see Casey Anthony's birth chart, and the first thing that pops out is her kite. So a kite in astrology is a very positive alignment. This is basically her saving grace alignment. It would really be for anyone with this alignment is a very positive thing to have in a chart. So what a kite is multiple planets aligning certain degrees that make up the chart. Her kite consists of, we're going to start with Neptune in Capricorn at 5 degrees, so that's her spirituality with herself. Her Pluto in Scorpio. She has Jupiter in Pisces at 6 degrees. Her moon is in Cancer at 7 degrees. So this is what makes up her kite. So a little bit about a kite. It is a very positive series of alignments, which all come down to the end of the kite point and the beginning of the kite point. So what are we seeing here? Well, Neptune and the moon are in direct opposition of one another. So how does this play back and forth? There is a matter of her spirituality and how she views her spirituality. And the moon in Cancer is in its home placement. So that's emotions, it's motherhood, it's the relationship with the mother. Now, with everything coming to a head at the moon, she is going to struggle and has struggled with motherhood, the relationship with the mother, and this particular kite is going to pinpoint down to the moon where her most struggles lie. Jupiter and Pluto are essentially outside helpers. So Jupiter in Pisces is that deep emotional communication. Jupiter, a big proponent of large social communication. In Pisces, which is a sign that is ethereal, so her being kind of afraid to speak. Pluto in Scorpio is in its home placement as well, with the darkness and deep transformation. Then you have Neptune, which the kite also points to, which is her spiritual well-being. Capricorn is kind of a lone wolf type. It is work and how you are in the social realm. So that's, kind of isolated. She has a ridiculous amount of squares as well. The squares that we see are between the Sun, Mercury, which her Sun is at a very good degree in Pisces. Mercury is also in Pisces. This is going to be square her Saturn and Uranus. So Saturn and Uranus in Sagittarius tells me that she is just gonna kind of do big, and Sagittarius is the straight shooter. It's the wild card. It's the life of the party. With Saturn being in Sagittarius, Saturn is father time, it's wisdom. So her wisdom and her ability to be wise is hindered in this placement. Saturn does not like being in Sagittarius. It is hindered here because her wisdom is incapacitated. Uranus in Sagittarius is a little bit better. It can be more fun, more creative. Uranus is a very creative planet. Sagittarius is again a very philosophical place. So her philosophies may be erratic. With that square to the sun, she is introverted as a Pisces, and being at a later degree like she is, that does tell me that there is more social. You look at her socially in isolation. Mercury is that communication, it's the smaller level communication. So she definitely, Mercury doesn't necessarily, it doesn't dislike being in Pisces, but it's not the greatest place for Mercury to shine because it is introverted conversations, really. And it's, even though she may discuss doing something for the broader world, it may not be kind of to true fruition. With this being a square, she goes back and forth between that larger than life, uncanny, irrational wisdom versus her being introverted and isolated. She's a very misunderstood person, especially with Jupiter being in Pisces. I do see a lot of miscommunications. So this kite has definitely saved her. The square screwed her. Mars here is also in Sagittarius. Mars does enjoy being in Sagittarius, but it's more to get things done erratically, and there's can be a form of jumping to conclusions and impulsiveness that's here. So her first house is also in Pisces, which is very self-oriented. The first house is how you are seen by others. She is seen by others as emotionally unstable with this in Pisces, and her 10th house is in Sagittarius. So the way that she presents herself socially, because the 10th house is how you present socially, is that it is erratic because it's in Sagittarius. Definitely misunderstood, can be seen as a bit crazy. She definitely will need lifelong mental help. And this chart is very interesting to me because her saving grace is this kite, and unfortunately her destructions come in the form of squares. Her Venus is also here in Aries. She's a very selfish lover. She does things for her. At the end of the day, she's going to have to learn to love herself first. There is a battle between kind of the love and hate here because Venus and the moon here are also in a square. So the way that she loves herself is dysfunctional, and the way that she shows love as a mother or to her mother is dysfunctional. The way that her mother loves her is dysfunctional. She definitely comes from a dysfunctional family. Her life here, as is shown, is not healthy. A big part of what I do requires funding. That's why I sell products online. I book readings, and I ask for donations from lovely people like you. If you do enjoy my stuff, you can go to PayPal and send shannonbag@gmail.com. You can do Cash App, hashtag Shay, KMB, SHAYKMB, or on my Patreon, which is Shannonbag MBR. You can follow me on Reddit and Pinterest and Instagram as well. I have 16 social media platforms. I'm sure you can find me somewhere. watching.